The house at 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville, New York looks just a plain normal house from outside, but its horrific history makes this house to be one of the most haunted houses in the entire world. This house attracted the international attraction after its hauntings, which led famous paranormal investigators and demonologist Ed and Lorraine Warren, who investigated more than 10,000 cases. Many books and films like Amityville Horror House, The Annabelle, Conjuring, and many more have been adopted from their investigations. But today I'm going to talk about the true story of the most infamous haunted house in the world. So get comfy, grab your headphones, hit the lights off, sit back, and enjoy. The true story begins with the DeFeo family who lived in the house at 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville, New York, which is infamously known as the Amityville Horror House. From outside, the family looked quite normal and happy, but on Thursday, that is November the 13th, 1974, at approximately 3 am, 23-year-old Ronald Bush DeFeo Jr. took his father's shotgun and wiped out his whole family. Beginning with his parents and then moving on to his two younger brothers and then his two younger sisters. He left his family lying in their beds and cleaned himself up, and as usual, he drove to Brooklyn. But on the way, he disposed of his bloody clothes in a storm drain and then went to work at his grandfather's Buick dealership. At the end of the day, he returned to the house, went to a local bar, Henry's, and walked in screaming that his family had been murdered. The bartender called the police and reported about the murders. Police soon arrived at the house and started investigating. All five bodies were face down in their beds with no sign of struggle and were killed by shotgun blasts while they were sleeping, leaving Bush the only surviving member of the family. The next day, an officer found a box of shotgun shells and the murder weapon in Bush's bedroom, and on November 15, Bush was taken in for questioning about the murders. He blamed the murders on his friend and mafia hitman Louis Fellini and kept up his claim during several hours of questioning. But because of the finding of those shotgun shells that matched exactly with the one used in the murders, Bush was arrested and was charged with the killings, but continued to claim his innocence. And after further questioning, he finally said, "It all started so fast. Once I started, I couldn't stop. It went so fast." Bush was given 6 consecutive life sentences for killing his family members. Bush is currently held at the Sullivan Correctional Facility in the town of Fallsburg, New York, and all of his appeals and requests to the parole board till date have been denied. Over the years, Bush have changed the story of killing many times. One time he said that a demon had possessed his soul and told him to kill his family, and his latest claim is that his sister Dawn carried out the murder, so he killed her. So this was the story of the murders that happened inside the 3-story house at Amityville. But this was just the beginning to something more disturbing. After the murders, the house was put up on sale and the Lutz family, including George and Kathleen Lutz and their 3 children, fell in love with the house when they first saw it. They were made aware of his tragic past, but they agreed to buy it as they had such a beautiful house in just $80,000. Before moving in, they had the house blessed, and apparently, while blessing one room upstairs, the priest heard a male voice shout, "Get out." He did not tell the family about the voice, but warned them that he felt a very bad presence in that room and advised them not to use it as a bedroom. On December the 18th, 1975, the Lutz family moved into their new home. According to the family, within days of moving into the house, they began to experience unexplained disturbing things. Their claims include green slime oozing from the walls, strange noises that wake the whole family up in the night, unexplained foul odors, large amount of dead flies in the house that appeared from nowhere, and disembodied voices. And apparently the flies originated in the same room where the priest felt a bad presence. As days passed, George started to get detached from his family. He became obsessed with the fireplace, often complaining despite the fire the house was too cold. George claimed that he woke up frequently at 3:15 am every day to the sounds of music and gunshots, which is also thought to be the time when the DeFeo murders took place. George's wife Kathleen also started to show unusual behaviors, and she was convinced that someone was touching her. 3 children of the Lutz family unnecessarily quarreled among themselves, which led to get beaten mercilessly by their father. Their daughter Missy, who did not know of the murders, had an imaginary friend named Jody who could change shape and form. Surprisingly, Jody was the same name as one of the DeFeo daughters who was murdered in the same house. Kathleen and George once witnessed Jody when they saw two red eyes peering through their bedroom window. Missy later confirmed that it was Jody who was trying to get in. Nearly after 2 weeks of moving in, the Lutz family stopped going outside and preferred to call their friends to their home, and it is said that their friends also heard strange unexplained noises and footsteps. For the Lutz, it was a great relief that something was really happening and this was not just their imagination that was playing tricks with them. One night, George was woken up by the sound of a marching band in his living room. When he went there to investigate that what was going on, he saw that all the furnitures were pushed to one side and the room was filled with an eerie silence. The final thing happened on the night before they left the house. George was lying awake on the bed and rest of the family was sleeping when Kathleen was suddenly lifted off the bed. George then got the feeling that someone had got into the bed beside him and he was completely paralyzed but could hear children's beds slamming up and down in the next room. Their pet dog was also in the same room when he suddenly started to go round and was throwing up. The next day, whole family thought that it was enough, and nearly after 28 days of moving in, on January the 14th, 1976, they left the house with most of their belongings left behind. Their story quickly drew the attention of international media, and a news show brought in famous paranormal investigators and demonologists Ed and Lorraine Warren, Duke University professor and the president of American Society of Psychic Research in the house. The Warrens investigated the house and held a seance which was televised. During their investigation, the famous Amityville ghost boy photo was taken, and the whole team came to a conclusion that the house was really haunted. Lorraine Warren later stated that the house was the most terrifying place she had ever entered, and the red room in the basement was a direct portal to hell. The Lutz's account of what happened in their home sparked an entirely new industry of several books and a blockbuster movie with several sequels. This made the Lutzes very wealthy people, which is why the skeptics argue that the whole thing was plotted just to get the Lutzes out of their financial trouble. Recently, Daniel Lutz, who was one of the children in the home, came forward and spoke about their terrifying experiences the family had in the house. The strange history of this Long Island home doesn't end here. There is a paid website called diedinhouse.com that allows users to search addresses for murder, suicide, and meth labs. A $12 report shows that actually there had been 7 deaths instead of 6. That is, at the Amityville Horror House, a man first died in the home at 1939 after an illness, and 35 years later, 6 members of the DeFeo family were killed. But according to the local listing agent, none of the other homeowners have said that the house was haunted or have strangely left the house. So in the middle of 2016, the house was put up on sale for $850,000. And according to some reports, at the end of 2016, the house was bought by a person who till date haven't disclosed himself. And even the listing agent have denied to disclose anything about the owner. So needless to say that everything surrounding the Amityville house, especially the believed paranormal and strange occurrences, has caused it to become one of the most known haunted houses in the world. And real or not, it seems that our curiosity and fascination with the house and the events that took place will forever leave us wondering what really went on during the Lutz's residence. So this was the story of the Amityville Horror House and its strange history. I would love to know your thoughts and theories about the house. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.